What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Learning Culture Podcast. I am your host, Andrew Barry, and this is a special edition episode called Good to Great ICs. ICs stands for individual contributors. Now, why individual contributors? Because I think they are becoming an increasingly important role in companies of the future. There is increasing evidence every single day about how ICs are able to make more impact on their own thanks to AI, and how they are actually learning management skills to manage AI agents. In this edition of the podcast, we talk to leaders about what it really takes to grow as an individual contributor. So, whether you're an IC yourself looking for advice to grow your career, or you're responsible for developing ICs, this episode is for you. Let's get into it. Scott, welcome to Good to Great ICs.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
Yeah, so can you just share with listeners where you work now? What are you responsible for? What's your title? That kind of thing.
Sure thing. So I am the head of learning development at LastPass, the cybersecurity company. We're based out of Boston. We're super, super global. We have offices in Hungary and all over the world. Um, and really mainly responsible for the learning of the organization, whether it be leadership development, development of our individual contributors, anything in between. So kind of runs
Yeah,
the gamut there.
that's awesome. And your career has obviously started as an individual contributor. You've evolved
Mhm.
now into managing people. And so what we're going to dive into today is that experience and what you've learned during that
Sure.
career. So let's start with the first question. If you, as you think back to your days as an individual contributor, what is an
Mhm.
aha moment that you had that really changed how you show up at work?
Totally. I think this is a great question, and one I wish I had the answer to a long time ago, or at least different perspectives of the answers to a long time ago.
Yeah.
I think that one of the things I learned the most in that sort of transition was that it's okay not to have all the answers all the time. And you can still be a subject matter expert, but it's okay to ask questions. The more people you ask, the more you are thinking and looking around the corner and being curious, I think has really been an moment for me.
Mm,
Because again, I always feel like in the beginning of my career, it was, in order to be successful, you have to be the one that everyone goes to and you have all the right answers and have that experience and expertise. But sometimes it's really about that collaboration element, right?
yeah.
Asking the right people, getting clarity, because so it's not always about the heroics. It's about, again,
Yeah.
that collaboration piece.
I am so glad that that was your answer because that is the first part of our Seek Sense Share framework, and it's like probably the most important principle of the work we do with clients in working with ICs, and that is, we all have a perspective, and it's
Mhm.
incomplete by definition. So like you're never expected to have the full, complete picture of everything. No one does, not even like the CEO, right? And so I think that's just freeing for people to go like, oh, okay, actually. I'm not expected to know, and I can just go and ask people and find out. Like,
Mhm.
what a revelation, right?
Yeah, and it helps you. It helps you not only with that growth into a leadership role, but then also gives you that grace as a leader. Because even when you make that next step into a leadership role, no one's expecting you to have all the answers as a leader, right?
Right.
It's even though sometimes you feel like you have to. I tell the folks that I work with all the time, like, hey, that's a great question. I'm going to find the answer for you. We're going to figure this out together. So it continues even beyond the IC world and
Yeah.
into the leadership role.
Yeah. No, that's such a good call out.
Mhm.
Okay, so if you can go back to young Scott, early,
Mhm.
early in your career, and whisper one piece of advice, what would you say?
This is hard because I feel like I got a lot of really good advice kind of in my world and in my during my career journey. Uh, and so there's two really important ones that I will uh, be a little bit more brief around, but um, it's thinking about your career as like a marathon of relationships and like not a race to like achievements, right?
Oof,
So
that's deep.
Yeah, I know, right? So maybe I can't be too brief, but it
Yeah,
was
keep going. This is good.
that was a revelation for me too. It's, I always felt like I need to achieve the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. But sometimes it's more important to build the relationships and meet the people and kind of gain access to knowledge, to people, to perspectives. That's really what it's all about, right? And that
Mm.
in turn will provide you with those achievements and whatever comes next. And it sort of ties into the other piece of advice that I got from a previous mentor, which is, you know, everything is a win when the goal is experience.
Mm.
And I
I
think
like
that
that.
always resonated with me because it's not always about I think about my career too, and it's always been more of a jungle gym than a ladder.
Mm.
And for me, it's been, I have to, it's about gaining the new skill. And when I gain the new skill, like expanding my portfolio, and as the portfolio has sort of expanded, then I've sort of naturally have progressed in one way or the other. Obviously, we always want to be moving in an upwards projection, hopefully.
Mm.
But really, it's about the experience, not the that like ladder or promotion type
Yeah.
of thing. So,
This reminds me of, so my son is 6 and he is like obsessed with winning. He freaking
mhm.
loves winning. And it's great. I love that attitude. But it's, at the moment he's still figuring out like that winning isn't everything. And like he will go to like sneaky means to make sure he wins a little game of cards, right?
Mhm.
And I'm like, but I want to make that point to him. It's like it's more about the experience of like you don't win chess every single time. Like every time you don't win, you learn something, and
Mhm.
obviously it's a lot to take in as a 6-year-old. But I'm curious, like maybe as a thought of like how you develop this in somebody that's coming early in their career. Like
Mhm.
how do you help them see that?
Yeah, and it's difficult, especially for people who are early in their career, because just like your son, we're always looking to for the next thing, or like to win.
Right,
And that's just human nature in a lot of ways. So
right.
it's not anything specific or bad. But I always think like if you're learning, you're growing, and the more we can learn, it's going to be make it so much easier to think not only about the direction that you want to go in your career, because maybe it's completely different. But we're not going to know that until we explore and learn
Yeah,
and grow, whether you're even on the right trajectory, especially for someone who's early in their career. They may feel like, well, this is what I'm supposed to be doing, and here's the next step for that ladder. But how do
yeah,
we know we're even on the right ladder?
right.
So I think the more we can expand skill sets, and I know I've been giving you a lot of adages, but like, there's one of the recruiters I worked with, many moons ago, once told me like, you know it's all about adding 1 to 2 bullet points to your resume a quarter. If you can be doing that, you're in a really good place. And
Mm,
I've always told that to the folks that I've been managing, like, I'm doing my job, you're doing your job. If we not are not only adding those promotions or those title changes, but we're adding, it's more important to me to add the bullet points. Like,
yeah.
what are you learning? How are you growing? Because the titles will come, those things will come, but they're not going to come unless we really take the time to evolve and grow our skill sets.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's one of those things where this all makes sense to us in retrospect, having got that experience, right?
Mhm.
So I think I should give up trying to convince my son and just kind of let him figure it out.
Yeah, he'll figure it out on
Um,
his own for sure.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so last question then. When in your role now, but I think you had like a career pivot early on,
Mhm.
right? You were like in an ops role, you went to a training role. So I just wanted to call that out. I think that was
Mhm.
like what you were saying earlier was sort of from experience.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's like goes back to the jungle gym. To be honest, I started out, I got my degree in biology and public health. I worked in
Mm,
a lab, and it's all those, again, those experiences led me to where I am today, which I'm
yeah.
really happy. But again, I wouldn't have known or had where I'd be where I am today if I hadn't had those experiences,
Yeah.
and make those big career pivots and be okay with it. Again, my career being a jungle gym and not that ladder.
Yeah. 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 Okay, so now we're wearing your L&D hat and
Mhm.
you spot a really high potential IC today.
Mhm.
What's one of the first things you look to do to help develop them?
Yes. and this is something I'm very open about it when I do have someone who I'm coaching along their career. And I think when I start to spot someone who has all of the intangibles that they need, how I can help them is to start to provide them the visibility into making a step from the tactical to the strategic. That's what,
Mm,
that's one of the things I tell them is really important for them to begin to consider. Most often, folks who are really successful in their careers, ICs, are super good at the tactical. They know the task, they do the task really well. They're subject matter experts, and that's fantastic. Um, but now it's sort of beginning to switch their brain or to evolve their brain to start to think about the strategic elements. Why are we doing this? Let's look around the corner a little bit more.
yeah.
What are the big picture goals that we're trying to solve for? And so those are the things that I start to coach as I
Mm,
start to work with those high potential folks, to really begin to have them think not only um, about the how, but the why of
yeah.
why we do certain things.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that sort of stepping back to see the bigger picture.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big part of that. Yeah. Scott, thank you for making the time and for preparing all these great responses to share
Mm-hmm.
your experiences. Yeah, thanks for coming on the show.
Of course. So thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. Great talking with you.